Hey y'all, this is the Prepper Homestead Workshop, and unless you have been living under a rock, you know there's an eclipse coming up. And if you are in North America, there is a corridor that runs coast to coast that is about 60 to 70 miles wide, where you will be able to see the eclipse in its entirety, a total, full, complete eclipse. I live in this corridor, and there have been a lot of interesting things coming up about the eclipse. I was looking at numbers from some reputable websites, not fly-by-night outfits, and the highest estimate I saw was 1.8 to 7.4 million people traveling to that corridor to watch the eclipse. There's a big discrepancy between 1.8 and 7.4. But conservative estimates say that Tennessee, where I'm at, is looking at having 300,000 extra people here. Now, I live in a rural area. We don't have a lot of infrastructure. Our roads really can't handle a whole lot of extra people. So that is something that that's going to make life interesting here, at least for a couple of days. There's been talk that people are going to be coming in and they'll just pull off in your yard to watch the eclipse and trespass on your property. I'm not real concerned about that. Not in the beginning. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But traffic, extra people, being access to services is going to be more limited because we don't have the infrastructure for that many extra people. So. Also, they're saying that because of all the extra cell phones that people are going to be using, that your cell phone's pretty much going to be useless during the eclipse. So, communications is something we need to think about. The traffic, the best way for me to explain the way that I feel like the traffic's going to be is anytime you're around a school zone and schools letting in or out. Now, that small little influx of 100 extra cars all at once, you can see how much that slows you down. So just imagine that for a couple of day period. That's what traffic has the potential to be like. There have been rumors, not from real reputable sources, but there have been rumors that some of the utilities, the power plants, won't be able to handle the extra load. I'm not over concerned about that because it's not like they're on a solar bank or anything like that. I don't think that the grid's going to go down, the power grid's going to go down because the street lights come on for 10 minutes in the middle of the day. But anyway, it is something to think about. Also, with the times we're living in now in this country, there's a real possibility of civil unrest, especially with outsiders coming in. It seems like people protest anything anymore, and it goes from snarky to violent at the drop of a hat. So that is something else to think about in your preparations for anything. And also just, anything that could cause the people who are traveling to get stuck where they're at for any amount of time. That would put a major bind on our resources that we have here. Normally you've got the 3-day theory, where there's 3 days of food for the country in the grocery store. Well, if a large portion of the country is not where they belong, then that would really put a bind on that area. So any kind of disaster that happens while this is going on would really cause some major shortages in fuel, food, and things like that. Access to medical care, all of those things. So anyway, our steps that we're doing to kind of help us do a little extra prepping for this is, first of all, we've talked about it. We've, as a family, we've sat down, we've talked about some possibilities. We have a plan. Part of our plan is we're filling up all of our vehicles on Friday, and then we're not going to do a lot of driving after that. But we're going to make sure they're full. We've already made sure that we've got plenty of propane. If something happens and we do lose power, we'll be able to cook for quite some time. If you have like something as simple as if you have prescriptions that need to be filled, go ahead and fill them early. You don't want to be at a point where you would have to go you would have to get out. You'd run out and have to get those prescriptions filled on Monday. You know, our basic plan is to just stay close to the house, you know, as a family. So that's what we're going to do. My wife is not going into work. I will be about 7 miles from the house when it happens, but not real far. With me being away from the house when it's going on, communications are an issue. If cell phones are not going to work, I don't know, cell phones might work fine, but if they aren't, we've got our radios out, checked them, made sure everything's going good. Now, you don't necessarily have to have something like a ham radio, but like a VHF, UHF radio. You could even, if Family Radio Service, FRS, and GMRS, if something like that meets your needs, then go with that. You know, it doesn't have to be a big expensive thing. We're making sure they're charged. Like I said, we function checked, made sure everything was good. Not only making sure they're charged, we're making sure we've got batteries for flashlights and small appliances, things that use batteries. Make sure we've got all that. I'm making sure all of my rechargeable tool batteries are charged up. Those batteries get used. I have a fan that runs on tool batteries, a radio. Those batteries are something that's easy to charge, and they're good for a multitude of things. We have a small battery bank, making sure that's charged up. Make sure, if you have anything like that it's charged up. So that pretty much covers batteries. With water. We've got water put back. We've got quite a bit of water, but we're just to be on the safe side. We're putting some extra water out for the stock. We're making sure that we have some containers outside filled, and it's not going to go to waste. If nothing happens, this water will still get used on our livestock. It's just we're getting a little early. Basically, if something were to happen to the water, we'd like to make sure we have at least 2 weeks of water for everybody without having to haul it manually. Food, we've got food put back, but if you're not a prepper, you might want to get a little extra food and put it back. Just imagine if something happened and you couldn't get out for a week, or even if you could get out, there wouldn't be anything to get. So just put a little extra food back, and if you are a prepper, get some steaks. That's not in your long-term storage. But also ice. Make sure that your freezer is completely full of ice. That will keep your food cold if the power goes out or something. And also, it's August in Tennessee and it is hot, so water and ice and coolness are very important. So keep that in mind. And entertainment. It's not all computer and TV and everything. Get a deck of cards, get some Uno cards, get the Risk board game out. The things we used to do for entertainment. Board games, puzzles, read a book. Do a crossword puzzle. Get Monopoly out, play it with your family. Get mad at your family for cheating at Monopoly. So just keep that in mind. And with all these extra people, not to be negative, but a lot of extra people means a lot of extra threat. I am going to be, away from the house during the actual eclipse, just a few miles. Normally I carry a full-size handgun. I'm still going to be carrying a full-size handgun. I'm going to add a rifle to the vehicle, though, and a few magazines. Clean your guns. Make sure everything's good with them. Load your magazines. Make sure your ammo's fresh. Just kind of, go over all of that. But I'm not, this. Well, I feel like this is really a good exercise for a short-term event, and it'll, just try to think outside the box, and if nothing else, this will help you with your prepping for other things, because it's something is coming, and you can do kind of a spot check on your prepping. I'm not losing sleep over this. I'm just making sure that we're prepared, not scared. So that's my thoughts on the situation. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. All right, y'all be safe now.